Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Hey Rail. And today we have another unboxing from Mr. Muffins. And so everybody knows that I like to tell my stories while I'm unboxing. Unfortunately, I'm resorting to this little tiny razor knife to open this because I don't know what I did with my big knife. But at any rate, don't you hate that? You put something somewhere and you forget where you put it. Happens to me often now. Guess that's what happens when you get older. At any rate, another unboxing from Mr. Muffins. Now, to explain this before I open it, while I'm opening it, I do like to watch other YouTube channels. Other YouTube channel I like to watch a lot is JD Stucks, formerly known as Jason's O-Gauge Trains. And the reason why I like to watch his channel is because me and Jason seem to have similar interests and the same type of rolling stock when it comes to modern freight cars. So like for example, I had the Lionel 86-foot high-cube box cars. Jason has those box cars. I have the Lionel 89-foot Autoracks. Jason has those. So when it comes to rolling stock, it seems like we have the same interests. So I was watching JD Stuck's 11th episode, and he's got a Lionel unit tank train just like I do. So, and with a unit train, with a modern tank train, for those who don't know, want to be more prototypical, you're supposed to run a buffer car if they're hazmat material cars. And then we got peanuts again. One moment. Now, unit tank trains are kind of common sight these days. You have your crude oil trains. You have trains that carry natural gas, all kinds of commodities. But usually you'll see, especially the ones you see today, the unit tank trains, will have a hopper car at the end of the train and between the locomotive and the rest of the cars. And that's because if anything was to happen, like a tank car exploded, the hopper car that's in between the locomotive and the first tank car will take the blast enough for the engineers and the crew to escape. And so that is called a buffer car. Sometimes they'll use a box car, but most of the ones I've seen on the Norfolk Southern trains, which Jason does like Norfolk Southern. I got it to Norfolk Southern because it was half a Conrail was sold to them. But on the Norfolk Southern trains, you'll see BNSF hoppers being used as buffer cars, which I kind of find funny that they're not using their own buffer cars. And they are actually marked buffer car service. So before I show these to you, what I was using, and I'll grab them for you, is this Lionel version, and it's probably got glare on it, so I'll just take it out of the box. So this Lionel version is a BNSF. It says buffer car service on there. This car came out of the Lionel oil can or oil tank train set that they came out with. That was a BNSF oil tank train set. So one of the hobby shops split the setup. I was able to get the front car, but not the back car with the EOT device because the rear buffer car had an EOT on it. And I know what you're going to ask. Why would they need a buffer car on the back of the train if there's no caboose these days? And that would be a good question, because once they get that tank train to its location to be offloaded, the locomotive can simply uncouple from the front buffer car, go around, and come behind the train to pull it back the way it came without having to switch out the buffer car too. So it saves a little bit of time. I gotta tell you, I wasn't happy with this Lionel car, and I'm not bashing Lionel. I'm very picky, and sometimes hard to satisfy. So, me personally, this car wasn't up to my standards. Basically, it was too light. That was one of the problems. So this would easily derail. I actually had to fill this up with stuff to weigh it down. The coupler issues. There's just a ton. There's just a couple of issues that I just didn't care for, and so I was up in the air about replacing this. I wasn't quite sure with what you're about to see. So I seen Atlas O come out with their version of the BNSF buffer car. And we'll pull this out of the box. And I wasn't quite sure if I really wanted it, because the pictures that Atlas put up did not do it justice. And then I happened to see it on JD Stuck's 11th episode video, and then I knew I had to have it. So here we go. And if you've seen JD Stuck's video, I'm sure he's already talked about this. But this is Atlas O Premier version of the BNSF buffer car. And I gotta tell you, it's a lot more accurate just by looking at it compared to the Lionel version. And I already know, being Atlas O and me having a lot of Atlas O, collecting it, that I'm going to be pretty happy. Now, this is a Premier piece, meaning this is a former MTH Premier product line. Atlas really didn't change much. We'll take a closer look at the details on this thing. Even though, there are videos of this probably already. I know there is on Jason's channel. But, I like to put my own spin on things. But this is, like I said, the pictures did not do this justice. And Jason did a good job covering these cars to the point where I had to have my own to put on my tank train. So, and needless to say, don't ask me if that car is for sale, because it's already sold, believe it or not. Somebody wanted it. Alright, so we'll get this out, take a look at it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So I got both of the Atlas O Premier buffer car hoppers out of the box. I bought two of them, one in each different road number, so I can put one between the locomotive and their first tank car and one at the end of the train, just like they do prototypically for a unit tank train. Already you can see the difference between the Lionel version and the Atlas O version. The Atlas O Premier blows the Lionel away, for sure. One of the things I'm first noticing is that the Lionel buffer car service lettering is way too big. They prototypically did put buffer car service only in small letters. The BNSF buffer cars that I have seen personally all have the smaller lettering on them like this that says buffer service only. And I actually rail fanned out there at Horseshoe Curves and seen the BNSF buffer cars out there just like this one. And so this is more correct than the Lionel version. The one thing I can say that the Lionel car has going for it, it does have rotating wheel bearing caps, where the Atlas O Premier does not, since Atlas O is using the MTH Premier trucks, which have yet to feature the rotating wheel bearing caps. And I'm hoping that one day that Atlas O will use their own trucks on MTH. Who knows if that would ever happen. I'm really happy to get this car. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because, like I said, Jason's already talked about these and details and stuff, but it's really such a cool piece that I'm so happy Atlas had done this. because I only had one of the Lionel cars out of the oil can set, or the oil tank train set. I was hoping that one day that somebody would make buffer cars in the future, and looks like, or in the future sold separately, and it looks like Atlas O beat Lionel to the punch. So yes, I'm stoked and happy for this. And if you look on top of the roof, I mean, you'll see it. The roof looks like it's been patched up because it's old and stuff. And you would actually see cars like this in buffer car service. They used older covered hoppers. I just really like the detail on this. It's really great. I mean, you had the see-through grates. You had the yellow handrails. I'll move this out of the way. You got the separately applied handrails, brake wheel. You got the pad printed ends, the small detail pad print. I mean, look how small but yet clear that pad printing is. Atlas does some wonderful work. I am just so happy to have this, and I thank Jason for sharing this on his 11th episode, because that's what sold me on buying them. Once I seen them on video, I knew I had to have them. I actually ordered them the day that he posted his video, believe it or not. The one interesting I seen on Jason's video when he was doing his version of the review of these cars is how that the MTH, so you can see it says Atlas O, but if you hold the car a certain way, you can see it says MTH underneath there. So it's kind of funny how Atlas is trying to pad print over top of the MTH stamping. And I didn't notice that until he pointed it out on his video. Now on the Lionel oil tank train set, one of the buffer cars, as I mentioned, does have an EOT or end of train device with a flashing red light. I kind of wish that would have happened here. Maybe one of the cars came with an EOT device, so when I put it on the end of my tank train, it has one. But then I remembered something. I remembered both me and Jason keep saying that the Atlas O Premier Series, nothing has changed. It's all the exact same thing as when MTH made it. So that reminded me of this neat little thing that MTH came out with. That's right, we have self-contained MTH EOT truck. It has a roller on it, has its own wiring, EOT device, flashing red light, proper time period. It's got the yellow box and the antenna on it. So we're set. So if it is true, then that truck should fit into that car. Let's find out. Alright, so you have our brand new Atlas O Premier buffer car on the operating table. And I want to install the older MTH EOT truck self-contained unit onto this car. So I have a proper buffer car with the EOT on it, and I'm pretty excited about this. Unfortunately, the screws are on the inside of the car, so what you're going to have to do is there's a screw here, a screw here, a screw here, and a screw there. Basically 4 screws, and this is going to come apart. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. So that takes this apart to where I can get to the screw for the truck here. Now let's say if you wanted to take this apart totally, there's another 5 screws in the body. You got 2 here, 1 here, and another 2 to get the floor out, to get the body, so you can have access to the whole body inside. But we don't need to do that today, so we're going to just go ahead and unscrew the truck. Looking at the truck side by side, I can tell you, yes, it's the same MTH truck. Nothing's changed. There's been no design changes. And basically, why would Atlas change the design? I mean, they already spent enough money on getting or buying the lineup, so I'm sure they want to get some money back from their investment before they made any changes, if they ever will in the future. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and screw this truck back on. And we'll go ahead and put it together. And bada boom, bada bang, we got ourselves a buffer service car with an EOT flashing Fred. So I am pretty happy now. I finally got what I wanted. A buffer car with a flashing EOT device. Alright, so we got it on the track. We'll push it ahead a little bit. We'll take a look at it. There you go. So much better EOT device on the Atlas Premier buffer car. I'm pretty happy about this. So it took me about, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe to put that in and install it. It wasn't that bad, not really that painful. But it does make for a more proper unit tank train, because I'm going to be using this on a more modern day Norfolk Southern unit tank car train, much like what Jason has, except I pull mine with Lionel locomotives and he uses MTH. But other than that, we have pretty much had the same unit tank train. But this does make for a more proper train over the Lionel buffer cars, I believe, in my opinion.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy?
Copy that, dispatcher. Over.
Okay, start her up. Stand by for track orders.
Roger that. Out.